Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to start this journey with you. Today, we're diving into an introduction to statistics. This is our first slide, so I just want to quickly set the stage. We'll explore what statistics is, why it matters, and how it can be useful in many areas. Let's get started and make this an engaging and insightful session. Let's start by understanding the importance of statistics in economics. Statistics play a crucial role in analyzing economic data, helping us make informed decisions and understand economic trends. Moving on to the scope of statistics, it covers a wide range of areas, from collecting data to interpreting it and making predictions. When we talk about the economy and its components, we're referring to factors like production, consumption, and distribution, all of which can be better understood through statistical analysis. Now, what exactly is economics? It's the study of how societies allocate scarce resources to satisfy unlimited wants. This brings us to the importance of statistics in economics, as they provide the tools to measure and analyze economic variables. The meaning of statistics is the collection, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. Why do economic problems arise? Because resources are limited, yet human wants are endless, leading to scarcity and choices. The scope of statistics is broad, encompassing various methods to analyze economic phenomena. We must remember that statistical methods are valuable, but they are no substitute for common sense. They should complement our judgment. Understanding the factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship is fundamental in economics. What are economic problems? They stem from scarcity and the need to allocate resources efficiently. The scope of statistics, again, helps us grasp these issues through data analysis. Finally, basic terms in economics form the foundation for understanding more complex concepts, and everyday life involves ordinary business activities that are also influenced by economic principles. All these points together highlight how integral statistics are to understanding and solving economic issues effectively. Let's take a closer look at the scope of statistics in economics. On this slide, you'll see several key points that help us understand how statistics apply to economic analysis. First, we start with the economy and its components, which form the foundation of our study. Then, we consider the ordinary business of life, highlighting how everyday activities are influenced by economic factors. It's important to remember that statistical methods, while powerful, are no substitute for common sense. Always apply critical thinking alongside data analysis. We also explore the meaning and importance of statistics in economics, emphasizing how they help us interpret complex data and make informed decisions. Next, we examine why economic problems arise, understanding the root causes of issues like scarcity and resource allocation. We look into the factors of production, which are essential for understanding how goods and services are created. Finally, we define economics itself, giving us a clear framework to analyze these various elements. All these points connect back to the overall theme of understanding how data and analysis support economic decisions and policies. Let's now look at some basic economic activities. These are the actions people undertake to earn money or create wealth. For example, any activity done with the goal of earning a monetary gain falls into this category. We also have key roles in these activities. A service provider, for instance, is someone who offers services in exchange for payment. Think of a barber or a teacher, people who provide services and get paid for their work. On the other hand, a service holder is someone who is employed, earning wages or a salary for their job. This might be a government employee or a factory worker. Now, when we talk about investment, it's about purchasing goods not for immediate consumption, but for future use that can help generate more wealth. For example, buying machinery to produce more goods later. Saving is another important concept. It simply means setting aside part of your income instead of spending it all right away. This savings can be used later for investments or emergencies. Moving on, a seller is someone who sells goods or services to make a profit, like a shopkeeper in a local store. A producer, by contrast, is someone who creates goods, such as a manufacturer making cars or clothes. Finally, the consumer is the person who buys goods or services for personal use. They are the ones who ultimately benefit from all these activities. All these roles and terms are interconnected and form the foundation of our economy. Understanding them helps us see how different activities contribute to wealth creation and economic growth. When we talk about economics, we're really looking at the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It's not just about money or markets. It's about understanding how people make choices, how they allocate their resources, and how these decisions impact their everyday lives. Alfred Marshall, a key figure in modern economics, captures this idea beautifully by defining economics as the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. This highlights that economics is fundamentally about human behavior, our needs, wants, and the ways we manage limited resources to fulfill them. This definition helps us see economics as a social science, focusing on real-world activities and decisions. It's about the practical, everyday aspects of life that influence how individuals and societies function. So, as we move through this presentation, keep in mind that economics isn't just theory. It's about understanding real people in real situations, making choices that shape their lives and their communities. Economics is essentially the study of how people and society make choices. These choices revolve around scarce resources, meaning resources that are limited and cannot satisfy all our wants and needs at once. It's important to understand that these resources could have alternative uses, so deciding how to use them involves careful consideration. The main goal is to produce various commodities, goods and services that meet our wants. But it's not just about production. Economics also looks at how these goods and services are distributed among different persons and groups in society. So, in a nutshell, economics helps us understand how we allocate our limited resources to produce and distribute the things we desire, balancing our needs and wants in a world of scarcity. This concept ties into the overall theme of how societies organize their resources to improve well-being and economic efficiency. When we talk about the activities we engage in for monetary purposes, economists refer to these as the ordinary business of life. Essentially, these are the actions individuals and society take that are closely connected with using material resources. For example, working to earn wages, running businesses, or trading goods. These are all part of this basic economic activity. The core idea here is that economics isn't just about money or markets. It's about understanding how people go about their daily lives and make decisions to fulfill their needs and wants. Economics is fundamentally a study of mankind in this ordinary business of life, because it looks at how individuals and society manage scarce resources to meet their material needs. So, when we consider the ordinary business of life, we're really talking about the everyday activities that drive economic behavior. Recognizing this helps us see economics not as an abstract discipline, but as something that is deeply rooted in our daily experiences and choices. When we talk about economic problems, we're really discussing the idea of choice. Because resources are limited or scarce, we can't have everything we want or need. This scarcity forces us to make decisions about how to use those resources most effectively. What's important to understand is that these resources, like land, labor, and capital, have alternative uses. That means if we choose to allocate resources to one area, we're necessarily giving up the opportunity to use them elsewhere. This is why the problem of choice is central to economics. It's about deciding how to best distribute our limited resources among competing needs and wants. So, in essence, economic problems arise because of scarcity and the need to make choices about resource allocation. Understanding this helps us see why economics is all about solving these dilemmas and making the most efficient decisions. Resource scarcity gives rise to the problem of choice among consumers, and it's important to understand that consumers make rational choices to satisfy their demands. Human wants are essentially unlimited. We always desire more and more. However, the resources available to fulfill these wants are limited, which creates a fundamental problem. These resources also have alternative uses, meaning that choosing to use a resource one way means it can't be used for another purpose. This is the core reason why the economic problem arises. It's all about how we allocate our limited resources efficiently to meet the endless wants of people. This concept ties directly into the overall theme of how economies operate under constraints and make choices to maximize satisfaction. Let's start by understanding what consumption really means. It's simply the usage of goods and services. Think of it as the final step in the cycle, where a good or a service is completely used up, fulfilling a specific need or want. Now, on the other hand, production is all about creation of utility. It's the process where inputs, like raw materials, labor, and capital, are transformed into goods or services that people can use. When we look at an economy, it's essentially a system where people earn a living to satisfy their wants. This is achieved through four key processes: production, consumption, investment, and exchange. These components work together to keep the economy functioning smoothly. Understanding these elements helps us see how the economy is interconnected. Production generates the goods and services we need. Consumption uses them up. Investment helps expand the capacity to produce more. And exchange allows us to trade goods and services efficiently. All these parts together create a dynamic system that sustains our daily lives and drives economic growth. Now, let's talk about distribution. This is a crucial part of production because it explains how the national income is shared among different factors of production. Essentially, it shows us who gets what from the total output, whether it's wages for workers, profits for entrepreneurs, rent for landowners, or interest for capital providers. Understanding this helps us see how income flows through the economy and how different groups benefit. Next, we have investment. Investment is all about committing resources today with the expectation of generating future income. It includes things like building new factories, purchasing machinery, or investing in infrastructure. These investments are vital because they drive economic growth by increasing productive capacity. When we talk about a healthy economy, investment is a key component that fuels expansion and development. Connecting this to the overall theme, both distribution and investment are fundamental to understanding how an economy functions. Distribution reveals how income is shared, impacting living standards and economic equality. Meanwhile, investment indicates the economy's potential for growth and future prosperity. Together, they help us grasp the dynamics that sustain economic activity over time. Now, let's look at the four main factors of production. First, we have the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur takes on the risk and effort of running a business, and in return, they earn profits, which are part of the income generated. Next is capital, which refers to the tools, machinery, and money invested in the business. The owners of capital receive interest as their share of the income. Then, there's labor, the human effort and skills involved in producing goods and services. Laborers earn wages for their valuable services. Finally, land represents the natural resources used in production, and landowners receive rent. These four factors, entrepreneurship, capital, labor, and land, are essential because they work together to produce everything we need and want. Understanding how income is distributed among them helps us see how the economy functions overall. Statistics refers to information in terms of numbers or numerical data, like population statistics. When we talk about it in a plural sense, we see it as the collection, organization, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. This broad perspective helps us understand how data is handled and used in various fields. On the other hand, in a singular sense, statistics is simply the quantitative information of facts and findings. It's the actual numbers that represent real-world phenomena. So overall, statistics is about making sense of data, whether as a collection or as specific facts, helping us draw meaningful conclusions from the information we gather. Let's now look at how statistics play a vital role in economics. In this field, statistical analysis helps us solve a wide range of economic problems, including issues related to consumption, production, distribution, investment, and unemployment. By applying tools like time series analysis, we can identify trends over time, while demand analysis helps us understand consumer behavior. Forecasting techniques are also essential for predicting future economic conditions, enabling better planning and decision-making. Moving on to planning here, statistics are equally important. Planning is essentially about setting a vision, establishing goals, and developing strategies and policies to achieve them. But to make informed decisions, we need reliable information. That's where statistical data comes in. By analyzing this data, we gain valuable insights that help shape effective plans. So, whether we're tackling economic issues or designing future strategies, the scope of statistics is broad and deeply interconnected with practical applications. It provides the foundation for informed decision-making in both economics and planning, guiding us toward better outcomes. Now, when it comes to state management, statistics play a crucial role in setting different policies to run an economy efficiently. They help in allocating resources across various sectors by analyzing data with different statistical tools. This way, policymakers can make informed decisions that promote growth and stability. In the context of business, statistics are equally important. They assist businesses in testing and making correct decisions, whether it's choosing the best location, designing effective marketing strategies, or managing financial resources. By relying on solid statistical information, businesses can reduce risks and improve their chances of success. Overall, the scope of statistics is vast and vital. It bridges the gap between data and decision-making, whether at the government level or within individual companies, helping us make smarter, data-driven choices across different areas. Now, let's look at how statistics are applied in different areas. In administration, for example, statistics are widely used to help formulate and forecast various plans and policies for the state. This means that policymakers rely on statistical data to make informed decisions that shape the development and management of public resources. Moving on to research activities, statistical techniques play a crucial role here as well. They are used not only for collecting information during research, but also for analyzing and interpreting the findings. This helps researchers draw meaningful conclusions and ensures that the results are reliable and valid. So, as we see, the scope of statistics is quite broad. It's essential in helping both government and researchers understand complex data, make predictions, and ultimately make better decisions. This connection between data and decision-making really highlights the importance of statistics in our overall framework. Let's consider how statistics help us understand the impact of unemployment across different sectors, such as rural and urban areas. For example, unemployment might be around 20% of India's working population, which is a significant indicator of economic health. By quantifying these issues, we get a clearer picture of the economic challenges we face. Statistics truly serve as a lifeline in economics because they allow us to measure, analyze, and interpret complex data. This helps policymakers and economists make informed decisions. So, understanding the importance of statistics in economics is crucial because it provides the tools needed to assess problems like unemployment accurately and develop effective solutions. Now, let's look at the concept of economic equilibrium. This is about balancing market demand and supply, ensuring that the quantity consumers want to buy matches what producers are willing to sell. Achieving this balance is crucial for a stable economy. Next, we consider formulating policies, such as setting a budget for the economy. This is essential because it guides fiscal policy, helping governments allocate resources effectively and promote economic stability and growth. Finally, understanding the cause and effect relationships in economics is vital. For instance, knowing how unemployment causes ripple effects in the market, or how inflation impacts overall economic growth, helps us make informed decisions and develop better policies. All these points highlight the importance of statistics in economics. By analyzing data accurately, we can better understand these relationships and craft strategies that support economic stability and growth. So, for example, we use statistics in consumer theory of demand and producer theory of supply, among other areas. These statistical tools help us analyze and understand consumer preferences, purchasing behaviors, and how producers decide on the quantity of goods to supply. By applying statistical methods, we can identify trends, test hypotheses, and make more informed predictions about economic activities. This underscores how vital statistics are in constructing accurate and reliable economic theories, ensuring our models reflect real-world behaviors as closely as possible. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that statistical data isn't infallible. It can sometimes reflect personal bias, which means the way data is presented or interpreted might be influenced by individual perspectives. Additionally, data can fail to reveal the errors or mistakes made during collection or analysis, leading us to potentially false conclusions. We also need to be aware that statistical data can be politically motivated. Sometimes, data is used to support specific agendas, which can distort the truth. That's why I always advise you to rely on your own common sense when working with statistics. Don't accept numbers at face value. Think critically about what they really mean. Data can also be manipulated intentionally to mislead or persuade, so it's crucial to look deeper and question the sources. And remember, even well-intentioned data can be misinterpreted if we don't understand the context or the methodology behind it. Ultimately, while statistical methods are powerful tools, they are not a substitute for good judgment. Using your common sense is essential to interpreting data accurately and making sound decisions. This is a key point that ties everything together in our overall theme. Always think critically and don't rely solely on numbers.